Yo, yo, yo. Got a question for y'all real quick.
What's going on?
What is your 101 of sodas?
Diet orange.
Brandon,
That's weird, but I like Orange Crush. Not
Weird.
Fanta. Not Fanta.
Bro, you just said the same answer as mine.
yeah, it's the same thing, but all right.
Not Diet.
Ed, what's yours?
Ed?
My first choice is Sprite. It's Sprite. Thank you, Alex.
Well, welcome in to First Choice Fantasy Football.
There are a lot of things I could do with my Sunday afternoons, including like crying, pulling weeds out of the yard. Anything if it means not watching the Redskins.
I'm gonna do something different here. You're not gonna like it very much.
You look at the Redskins
Justin.
running backs. No. You look at the wide receivers.
It's
Who?
just McLaurin out there by himself.
Yeah, what's up? We're back. Alex, what do you have today for the episode?
We're going to start it off with a segment we stole from the rest of the internet called Start, Bench, Trade, or Cut. It's pretty simple. We got 4 lists, 4 dudes apiece, and we're going to say whether we are going to start those guys, bench those guys, as in keep them around on the roster for future purposes, or just cut them or trade them. Pretty simple. Also, we're doing this for redraft leagues, not Dynasty.
Half-point PPR.
Sounds good to me. All right, let's get started. Our first grouping, we're going to go with a group of receivers. We've got Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, Adam Thielen, and Kenny Galladay. What are you guys doing with them?
Brandon,
So when I first look at this list, I see Kenny Galladay, and I'm going to bench Galladay. I think he could be very good this year, but I really like Amari Cooper. The only reasons why I don't like Amari Cooper is because of injury issues. Obviously, he had a lot last season, held him out, and even some games where he was considered healthy, he was sitting out. But I'm going to take that chance with Amari because, yeah, I'm going to start Amari. I'm going to bench Galladay, and I personally think Kupp has the most trade value. I mean, any 4 of these guys you're not going to want to drop. But I'm going to drop Adam Thielen. I don't know. Stephon Diggs leaving. It's different. So I think Kupp opens things up with Brandon Cooks now traded to the Texans. So trade Kupp for that value.
all right. I'm going to do the opposite of you. I'm going to start Kupp just because the amount of targets he had last year was insane. I think he'll keep that target share up, probably increase, honestly, with Cook's gone. I'm going to bench Thielen just because I'd rather not trade him. I don't think he has enough value to trade, and I wouldn't cut him for the purpose of I think he has decent upside this year. Trading-wise, I'm going to trade Amari Cooper. I think he has the most value. Personally, I think he has the bigger name. A little inconsistent for me to start. And benching, I don't think he's kind of like he's a better Will Fuller, in my opinion. I feel like you don't know when he's going to blow up, and you don't know when he's going to put up a 0 game like he did last year. So I would trade him in that circumstance. And then I'm cutting Kenny G just because last year I feel like his rate, like his touchdown rate, was insane. I feel like he's not going to be able to produce as much as he did last year, even with Stafford for a full year. And for that reason, I'm going to cut him.
Alex?
Be honest, my answer inside my head has changed about 4 times already. So whatever I say, I'll probably change my mind within 15 seconds, maybe both. I like to start these by deciding who I would like to cut. And like you said, this is kind of a hard list to do that for, but I'm going to cut Adam Thielen. I don't know why, because I'm going to cut Adam Thielen. So between that, I think I'm looking at, if you get to keep 2 guys, I want to keep the guys that I think have the most potential. So I'm going to bench Cooper and start Kupp, although I guess you could flip those depending on whether Cooper is playing a good team or not, because we saw when he plays good teams, he does nothing. Looking at you, New England, in that Philadelphia game.
Yeah.
Terrible. And, yeah, I'm just going to trade Galladay because I can get something for Galladay.
would you say who has the most value, you think, of these four in trading? Because I think Cup could produce the most this coming year, but I feel like Cooper just has a bigger name value.
Yeah, I'd probably say that as well. I think Adam Thielen is really underrated from a value perspective, hence why I'm cutting him.
As is Cooper Cup after finishing, what was it, wide receiver 4 this past year, something like that?
Yeah.
Something high. I mean, I traded him because like he kind of did the Cooper thing where when he played the Bengals, he had 74 points, and then when he played like a good team, I'd look up at halftime and be like, "Oh, Cooper Cup has 0.2 points. That's not good.
Yeah, this is
That's
true.
not good at all." That's why what I said to you.
I think you could apply that to both Cooper and Cup, and that's why I personally think Cup has the most value because, I mean, he's put up number one stats. So is Cooper, but I don't know. We've had longer of a history of Cooper being kind of on off every year. So
Cup is the same way. Well, that's why I would keep them both on the same team because then I get to decide week in and week out who do I want. One of them's going to do something. I would hope
both could screw you over. That's possible.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the Rams are on a bye and like Cooper's playing Stephon Gilmore, then I'm going to wish I hadn't dropped Thielen.
And that's why I chose to keep Galladay because really I don't know. I feel like he puts up consistent numbers, especially when Stafford's there. And I would trade one of the two boom bust type of players for some running back depth, something that I would need. So
I don't feel like researching Kenny Galladay's stats last year, so I'm just going to take your word for that.
That's fair.
I mean, I had him, and I remember I was very happy with him. I remember Thanksgiving game, I decided to sit him because I think it was Blau.
Yeah,
Blau. I thought I'd never say his name again. I was like, oh, well, he's not going to do anything.
That was
lost me the week, but
did they beat the Cowboys that game? Who did they play that game? Or was it somebody else?
I think it was definitely close.
It was the Bears.
They beat them.
That was the Bears.
I think they may have beat them.
I know it was a pretty good game.
I feel like I remember Dallas losing on Thanksgiving last year.
I definitely know the Lions were in the game because Galladay went off. That's all I know.
Oh, the Bills beat the Cowboys. That's who it was. And the Bears beat the Lions that game. Yeah. Saints beat the Falcons in a game that I'm sure absolutely nobody remembers.
No, that actually destroyed some people I know's survival leagues. They all picked the Saints, and I'll fuck them all over.
Galladay, 4 catches, 158 yards, 1 touchdown.
The one big touchdown. I think it was a 75-yard touchdown. I think that inflated his stats a little bit, but it is what it is.
Can we just look at Mitch Trubisky's stats? Never mind. He had good stats in that game. I take that point back.
Yeah, we don't talk about his good games. We just trash on him.
As far as I'm aware, that game never happened to me, no. All right. Want to move on?
Yeah.
So with the second list, we have the early running backs. The list consists of Ezekiel Elliott, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, and Leonard Fournette. Where are you going with that, Alex?
Well, I'm going to cut Fournette. That's simple.
Yeah.
Don't think really that was any debate. I'm cheating here. I would just trade whoever I can get the most value for out of these next 3 guys. I think it might be Dalvin Cook or maybe Elliott or maybe Chubb, actually. I have no freaking clue. I would just spam people at trade offers until like somebody offers me their roster. But if you made me choose, I guess I would trade Elliott and I would bench Chubb and start Cook.
What about you, Brandon?
Well, I think it's going to be pretty consistent all across the board with dropping Fournette. He was so he was so much used in the passing game last year, but I just his history, just the status quo on his team with the Jaguars, I don't know. It's just not my favorite back, but I would take him at a specific spot if needed to. But other than that, Zeke and Cook, they're as good as it gets when it comes to running backs. So I'm definitely going to keep them around because really Chubb, his value may decrease. I mean, he may have less of a value than Cook and Zeke, but Chubb can also get you what you need. And right now I'm looking at possible running backs 1 and 2 for fantasy purposes, and trading Chubb for a good wide receiver and a package even. So that's where I'm going. Trading Chubb, dropping Fournette, probably going to start Cook and bench Zeke.
All right, I'm not too far off. I'm definitely cutting Fournette. He's not a bad player, but I like the other three a lot more. I'm trading Chubb. Initially, I had Cook down, but I think your explanation kind of had me taken there, Brandon. Plus,
Yeah, convinced you.
I think Chubb first year in a new system might struggle a little bit. Plus, he's kind of a boom bust running back, and I don't think it'd be beneficial to have him on my team. And I'd definitely rather have a Dalvin Cook and Zeke combo. For that purpose, I'm trading Chubb, benching Cook, and starting Zeke.
I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, I think the issue here is that Chubb isn't really involved in the passing game a whole lot, especially with Kareem Hunt involved, whereas Elliott and Cook are. So.
Another comment on Chubb. A while back, I saw a stat that Chubb just had a very poor statistics when it came to inside the red zone. And for being a pound type of running back, that's kind of important.
I think Fournette was definitely a lot worse in the red zone, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
What do you mean by bad in the red zone in what context? Like just bad yards per carry, bad like
probably
bad
conversion
rate.
I think it was conversion rate. It's been a while. I just remember it was a negative stat for Chubb, and that kind of it didn't.
Well, that makes me wonder, like
his value for him, but with this group of running backs, I don't know. To me, it's pretty easy with the decisions.
Well, not that I trust Kevin Stefanski or whatever the hell that guy's name is that's coaching over there, but how am I to know that Nick Chubb's poor red zone production isn't just because Freddie Kitchens is Freddie Kitchens?
Yeah, that's true.
Great name, by the way. Great A name. If he was still coaching, that might be my favorite coach name.
Yeah. No,
not
I agree.
Boring coaches. Bill, Sean, Doug, Pete. Yeah, Pete. What the hell? Who are some other ones? There's a lot of Dougs.
A lot of Dougs.
Bruce.
Steve. Even Cliff. Like, that name as a whole
Cliff,
sounds good.
I'm pretty happy with Cliff. Yeah, I could take on that name.
It's different.
Reminds me of Clifford.
Yeah.
It's just
but it's like, you know.
But it's like not, because it's a guy.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Cliff. Well, if you know any Cliffords, which Alex, I believe you do, obviously.
Do.
Start calling him Cliff and see if he is like, what?
Oh, we do call him Cliff. He's cool with it.
Okay, well. Maybe Cliff Kingsbury's real name is Clifford Kingsbury. Yeah, I would definitely want to shorten that to Cliff if I was him. Moving on to mid to late wide receivers. Marquise Brown, Terry McLaurin, Odell Beckham Jr., and Devontae Parker. Who you got, Ed?
This list was kind of difficult to me. I'm definitely trading OBJ at all costs, just name value-wise. It was hard with Marquise Brown because I feel like he definitely seems like a boom-bust player, but I feel as if Baltimore increases their pass-to-run ratio this year, I feel like Marquise Brown could definitely be worthy of a wide receiver too, honestly. That might be a little high, but I feel like he definitely reached that ceiling. I'm benching him, trading OBJ, cutting Terry McLaurin, just for the simple fact I do not like Dwayne Haskins. I don't like the Redskins either, and I feel like he has the least value of all the players here. And then I'm starting Devontae Parker, bringing in Chan Gailey. Is that their offense coordinator?
Beats me.
Beats you. All right. Well, I'm pretty sure he's new. He was an offensive coordinator, I think, for the Jets back in the day. Not back in the day, a couple of years ago. And I just feel like he's going to get the most out of Devontae Parker, especially after a year like last year. When you have Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing you the ball, I feel like you could definitely improve, even if it is still with Ryan Fitzpatrick or say Tua comes in. I just feel like it's the best Best scenario of all the wide receivers.
You know, I was with you on starting Parker, but then you mentioned that his offensive coordinator comes from the Jets.
I think he was with the Jets back when they were in the playoffs, like
You
consistently.
say Chan Gailey?
Chan
Is that his
Gailey.
name? Just gonna look it up.
Look it up.
I mean, he wasn't the head coach of the Jets, at least.
Oh no, offense coordinator.
I don't want to know that though. He was 2015 to 2016.
Oh, it was.
It's not good, Ed.
That's rough.
Well,
That's rough.
That is
I'm
rough.
gonna have to
I hear it.
trade Parker in the league I have him in now.
I'll take.
I'll take him.
Give me that first.
Let's talk about that off screen.
All right. Anyway, actually, I'm gonna start Parker just because he was remarkably consistent last year. I value consistency with my players. I think if you can field a team of solid, consistent, if not spectacular players, and then tack like one Christian McCaffrey onto that, boom. A little easier said than done, especially if you end up with like pick 12, but that's not my problem. I'm going to trade Odell, too. That seems like the easy one. I feel like there's just going to be some idiot in every league that's, Odell, I'll give you everything I have. Because there's always that guy. That's probably the best fantasy advice I could give. Find that guy and just trade with him every day.
Yep.
So I've been thinking about the Brown McLaurin. I'm going to bench McLaurin and cut Brown simply because the Ravens, as you said, are more of a running offense, and they like to funnel targets through their tight ends. And while I like Brown as a player, I feel like, one, he's really tiny, and he might just get hurt a lot. And he doesn't really seem like a volume target to me as much as like Scary Terry should be. But you know, Dwayne Haskins could just ruin that for all we know.
Exactly.
But I don't like watching the Redskins, so I won't be there to find out. Because there are a lot of things I could do with my Sunday afternoons, including like crying, pulling weeds out of the yard, anything if it means not watching the Redskins. Your thoughts,
That's
Brandon?
fair. Well, at first, I was going to say I am going with Ed's solution to this, but I don't know, hearing what you had to say, Alex, really changed my mind. So I'm going to stick with Devontae Parker as my starter. Odell Beckham Jr. is getting his ass traded. And Terry McLaurin,
Okay.
I don't know. I have Marquise Brown in a redraft keeper league, and I'm pretty happy with him because in that league you can keep rookies in the 7th round, and I find that to be decent value, and that's about where he's getting drafted. So, but I'm gonna go with Terry McLaurin here because Marquise Brown, he's so small. He's, like Alex said, not a target hog. And Terry McLaurin really is the only guy on that team. Like, you look at the Redskins running backs, no. You look at the wide receivers, who...
It's just McLaurin out there by himself.
McLaurin. And then you had their tight ends, who? Vernon Davis, but I believe he retired.
Yeah, I think they have Jeremy Sprinkle and Logan Thomas.
Oh,
I love Logan Thomas.
My God, you got Sprinkle. Oh, man. So I'm going with McLaurin. He can get triple covered and get 10 targets a game, all I care, and I'd be happy because I really think 10 targets would amount to more catches than what Marquise Brown will consistently get.
We got to stop giving strong opinions because when Marquise Brown averages 15 targets next year.
Hey, like I said, I have him and I'm keeping him in the 7th. So either way, I look bad, but I still got him. So
this is fair. All right. Last selections here. We have mid to late tier running backs. Okay. So we have David Johnson, Kareem Hunt, Kenyon Drake, and Darius Geis. Alex, you can start it off here.
If Kenyon Drake remains a late round ADP running back, then I'm just going to laugh my way to that selection every single time because I'm starting him for sure. I don't think he's going to score 4 touchdowns a game with the Cardinals. Didn't he have 4 in a game last year?
Did indeed, yep.
Yeah, that's probably unlikely. I don't think the NFL record is anywhere near 64 touchdowns, but maybe. But I'm still starting him because this list is not very inspiring. We've got David Johnson, which is funny. I guess I'm cutting him. I would trade him if I was playing in a league with Bill O'Brien, but only real GMs are lucky enough to have him sitting around waiting for stupid shit to happen. So I guess I'll cut him. I don't really like Darius Geis. We've been over this. I don't think he has any knees, and if there's one thing that's really important for a running back, it's functioning knees. And I don't know if he has those. He keeps tearing those ACLs. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, like, I got to make a business decision here. He's getting traded. I'm going to keep Kareem Hunt just because. With that being said, if some moron comes around and offers me a lot for Kareem Hunt, bye. Ed,
I
what do
will.
you got?
I'm going to do something different here. You're not going to like it very much. I'm starting David
Doesn't seem
Johnson.
that way. What?
Starting David
I
Johnson.
don't mind it.
I feel
Sorry.
like people are undervaluing him a little bit. Like,
He was terrible the last 2 years.
I don't know about terrible. Last year,
3.8 yards per carry.
He was hurt last year, and when he was used, he was. Did you not see the one carry when he just looked like he was walking on the field?
That's not. Yeah, that was him not trying.
Exactly.
That's like Darius Geis every game he plays.
No, don't do that. I love Darius Geis. He has no knees. He has no knees.
I said that.
that.
Well, that's why I'm saying when you have no knees, you walk very slowly.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm cutting Darius Geis for that reason.
What?
I'm cutting it.
Oh
I'm
my God.
trading Kenyon Drake. I think he has the most value at this point of all the running backs. No, I'm switching that. I'm going to bench Kenyon Drake. I'm going to trade Kareem Hunt. Just because, I mean, Kareem Hunt probably doesn't have the most value, but I'm switching it all around, actually. I'm just going to switch the whole thing real quick.
Let's go. Spin it around.
Oh, let's do it.
Benching Kenyon Drake.
There we go.
Geis, and cutting Kareem Hunt. Because Darius Geis, I know last year I was all in on him when he was supposed to come back during the playoffs. I was willing to trade a haul for him last year, and I know there's
pretty
probably
sure you did, actually.
No, not in Dynasty, in redraft. Somebody's value was way too high, but I was still giving this person a haul, and it didn't work out. But I know this year it'd probably be the same way, just because 2 years removed from the ACL tear, I feel like he might have a good bit more value than he did at the end of last year. And I think Kareem Hunt, I mean, while he's talented, I love the dude dynasty-wise. I just think his ceiling is very limited because of Chubb being there. Even if Chubb does go down, I don't see Kareem Hunt producing all season. Like, I feel like they might bring somebody in, or I don't see Chubb getting hurt. I can't see Chubb getting hurt.
So, you think David Johnson's gonna have a good year?
I think people are undervalued, especially.
All right, tell me.
I think his ADP is in the 8th round this year. That is just criminal because it's below running back 30. He's definitely performing in the top 30.
Show me the receivers in the 8th round, and I'm probably passing on David Johnson there.
Yeah, I won't. I think.
I might take him just to trade him to you, but
I don't think I would trade for him. I would take him at the value that he's at. But
I value him at like the crap lying on my carpet right now that I need to vacuum up. So
you're taking Will
anything.
Fuller? No, listen to this. You're taking Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, or Christian Kirk over David Johnson.
I'm taking Will Fuller over David Johnson.
Okay, I will call you crazy for that, but that's all you.
You'll have Fuller.
I don't care for
3 games.
I do not care for him.
I just see a running back with a guaranteed workload. I think I'm going to take it, regardless. If it's Sony Michel, give me Sony Michel. If with a guaranteed workload.
I see your argument.
I don't even care about the talent.
I just don't like the guy. And
upside.
Think about it this way. They gave Carlos Hyde
the
carries, and he was a plug-and-play running back.
But the Cardinals tried to feed him touches 2 years ago, and he did nothing. So why am I to believe that's going to be any different in Houston? If he comes out and has a good year, all right, whatever, I was wrong. But I wouldn't bet on it.
Did any Cardinals running back really produce 2 years ago? Did anybody on the team produce 2 years ago?
Well,
that was Yeah.
Has anyone on the Texans produced in that time at running back?
No.
Side.
All right.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. Nobody was really taken away.
I don't think DeAndre Hopkins prohibits you from having a good running game.
Receiving game. That's what David Johnson is.
David Johnson isn't good.
David Johnson has a guaranteed amount of touches. I'm going to set it right here, right now. He averages 18 touches a game next year.
All right,
I
how
believe
come last year when David Johnson did nothing throughout the first time that he got playing, he did nothing when he got playing time. How come Kenyon Drake was able to step in and just rush for 5 yards a carry and scored 4 touchdowns in a game and carry people during that end of the year run? Why didn't David Johnson do that?
Because Kenyon Drake has talent. I'm not saying David Johnson is a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he's great either.
Then why aren't you starting Drake?
Guaranteed workload. I'm taking that over.
Drake has a guaranteed workload.
And I'm benching him. Am I benching him? Yeah, I'm benching him.
Yeah.
I don't know. You changed your answer about 11 times. I don't really remember.
I'm benching Drake.
All right. Well, I will make sure to acquire David Johnson wherever I can, just so I can mail him to you.
I'm not psycho. I'm not trading you a haul for this man.
I didn't say a haul.
With happiness. I'm not trading you anything else besides
This is about what I value David Johnson at. Tissue right here. So I do it for nothing.
Brandon, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he still hasn't gone yet.
Yeah. So I am going to cut Geis without any question in my mind. I don't know who. Last season, I was willing to trade for Geis, but definitely not as much as what I'd be willing to trade for a player like Kareem Hunt. And no, Geis, he got hurt after I tried to trade for him, and that was my last time ever going to consider that man fantasy relevant. So he's going to freely be placed upon the free agency. Dynasty League, I would trade Kareem Hunt, but since this is redraft, I am going to bench Kareem Hunt, start Kenyon Drake, and trade David Johnson. I personally agree with Ed. I think the Texans, they obviously traded a ton to get this man. So if they don't use him right, O'Brien most likely will be out the door. So they're going to be forced to use him. So it's this is guaranteed workload, and it's not even talent wise at this point. So yeah, that's my decision.
I'm not disputing the fact that he'll get touches. I'm not. And that's actually a good idea. I think I would probably actually try to trade him too, just because maybe somebody does value him. I'm just saying that I don't think he's good anymore. I don't think you average 3.8 yards per carry or whatever over 2 seasons.
Because if you see, think about it this way. There's 2 out of 3 people right here who value Johnson pretty high.
Pretty high.
I mean,
think about it that way. So that's why I chose to trade Johnson.
I mean, I think that's insane, but I see your point.
I'm guaranteed
I would trade him.
RB2 finish for David Johnson. Top 24.
I wouldn't be willing to bet on that.
How about this? How about we do this one in Dynasty settings? That would change it big time.
Change the whole scheme.
It would change it. So Dynasty speaking, I would trade Hunt. I would keep Kenyon Drake. And I would probably bench Darius Geis at this point. And I know I literally just said I would never keep him. But you know what? He's young. And I would probably... What's the last thing? What was the one I'm missing? Is it drop?
Cut, yeah.
Cut, okay. No, I'd cut Darius Geis and I'd bench David Johnson still. So the only thing that changes is that I'm switching Hunt and Johnson in a Dynasty settings.
Obviously, I was strongly opinionated with David Johnson being undervalued, but in a Dynasty scenario, I'm cutting him. I am trading Kenyon Drake still just because of uncertainty with his future. I think he's definitely talented. He's in a good situation right now, but the fact that he's on a transition tag, they didn't show commitment to sign him long term. I feel like that just brings up too many question marks for me to actually bench him or keep him. I still get a value back if I traded him. I'm gonna bench Darius Geis just for future potential. Even if I did trade Kenyon Drake and bench Geis, I can get another running back for Geis or something or for Drake. I'm benching Geis and starting Kareem Hunt. I feel like Kareem Hunt long term has the potential to go back up to an RB1. Honestly, I mean he's a great back. If he signs a contract with a team and actually gets a guaranteed workload as a starter, he could definitely be top 12 running back.
You know, you brought up an interesting point there. I think that's a great move by the Cardinals to put him on the tag and not sign him to a long-term deal.
I think it's a good move for the Cardinals, but I'm talking from Drake's fantasy
Yeah.
because next year the cap raises, so I think he would get more money, and I feel like it would make more sense for the Cardinals if they were going to sign him long term to sign him this past year. Because if he does say he performs like he did last year, unbelievably, top 10 running back, something like that, do you think they're going to be willing to pay him an arm and a leg this year when they could have signed him for cheaper last year? I don't see it happening.
Do you think he would sign cheap, though? I feel like after those few games, he would probably be wanting a long-term deal now. And I think, honestly, with all of the long-term deals that have just blown up in the face of everyone who's handed them to a running back, I think it's smart to keep him on tag. And if he does blow up again, tag him a second time, try to trade him.
I agree, but I'm saying as far as his value, because he's good.
I was just kind of curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But
what's your
I'd keep him even in Dynasty. Sorry, Brandon.
What's your Dynasty thinking on these four?
I'm still starting Drake because I think he'll have a really good year. I don't know. I guess I'd trade whoever I got the most value out of. I prefer to keep Hunt over Geis. I'm pretty sure I've made it pretty clear I don't want Johnson on my team. But yeah, I guess I'd cut Geis over Hunt just because I feel like Hunt will probably have a solid floor next year. Not a very high ceiling, but a solid floor is someone I can throw in at a flex spot if I need to. Whereas I don't know what Geis is going to do. Geis could get hurt in training camp. Geis could play all 16 games and average 2 yards a carry. I don't know. I don't really like the few times I watched him in college, I came away unimpressed. The few times I watched him last year, I came away unimpressed. And what the hell do I know? But I think I'm getting rid of him.
So what is your final four? What is your final format for the four?
Didn't I just? All right, I'm keeping Drake, keeping Hunt too, chilling on the bench. I'm just going to trade whoever gives me more value out of Johnson or Geis. But push comes to shove, I'm trading Johnson and I'm cutting Geis.
Word. All right.
Yeah.
The next segment, we're going to dive into a fantasy mock draft with rookies in Dynasty mode based on the locations we gave them last video.
All right, so just a brief explanation here. As you might have noticed, there's only 3 of us. And there are 12 teams in this mock draft. So, yeah, we're just going to do every third pick. I'm going to go first, then Brandon, then Ed, and then me, and then Brandon, then Ed, and then I would hope you could figure out the rest. We're only doing 3 rounds because it's rookies. We are doing linear because that's just how these things work.
All right, Alex, who you got? Pick 101.
First overall, I'm taking Joe Burrow, quarterback LSU. I'm kidding. We're going with Jonathan Taylor. However, I cannot make that selection right now.
Jonathan Taylor coming right up.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I mean,
oh my God, Jonathan Taylor, pick 101.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't really consider Swift with the Lions. That might pain you, Ed, but
doesn't pain me.
It is what it is. And I thought about going with either receivers because I think those are good options. However, Taylor, if he is in Miami, as he is in this scenario, will probably get a lot of touches and probably do a lot of good stuff. So why wouldn't I want that?
Understandable. Brandon?
Pick 2. I want CeeDee Lamb here.
Ooh.
Jaguars are going through a transition year. So why not just ball out? Get your rookies as much work as they possibly can. CD's obviously talented. So is Judy. Kind of a hard decision, but ultimately I like the Jaguars' landing spot more because first off, I think Leonard Fournette's going to lose a lot of his targets, and that's going to open up a lot more targets for CeeDee Lamb.
Him and Chark together also would just
And that is another
filthy.
reason why. Thank you for
And,
pointing that out for me.
Does the AFC South have any good cornerbacks?
No.
Name me a cornerback on the Texans roster.
Oh my God.
Jonathan Joseph still there, or did he retire? I don't even know.
I don't think 55-year-old Jonathan Joseph can keep
And he
up with CeeDee Lamb.
he
But I
probably
welcome him to
transferred to
try.
safety
He'd do a
at
lot
this
better
point.
at it than I would. I don't. Well, the Titans. They have a
They
good
have some
defense
young
at least,
corners
but
that are decent. Malcolm Butler's
Don't
not
care.
terrible, but I don't have him on.
CeeDee Lamb is going to roast him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Colts. Nah.
All right. So with pick 3, everybody should know based on last episode. I have this I don't know why, but I just love DeAndre Swift so much. But in this scenario, Jerry Jeudy falling to me at 3, I think you have to take him. In Oakland, or actually now it's Las Vegas, but with the Raiders, I think Jeudy will benefit a ton. Even if their quarterback situation is Marcus Mariota, or, I mean, Derek Carr is not even good, but I feel like he would benefit the most. I think he'd perform better this year as well compared to DeAndre Swift. And I would just have to take him at 3, honestly. Anything else?
All right.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Ed, you ready to be angry?
No, I was expecting you to take Swift at 4. Oh, you're going to take Dot? Okay.
I'm going Dobbins. I'm taking Dobbins at 4.
Understandable.
It's defeated.
Any
You want to know why?
Why?
Let's hear it.
Because one, I feel like Detroit is just perennially nah. All right, that's the last time I try to pronounce that word. That's 2 consecutive times. I botched it both times. I'm not smart enough to say that. I think Detroit always kind of sucks at running the ball, and I wouldn't blame Swift for that, but I feel like their line just sucks, and I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback. Hopefully Stafford stays healthy, but I don't know about that. And as I said before, the last time, I feel like the Chargers just really hand out those goal line carries, those running backs. Gordon got a ton of them, and if Dobbins was hypothetically there, I expect him to get a ton of them. So he's going to score a lot. And then if I really want Swift, I'll just trade Dobbins for Swift and somebody else.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I know you're just dying inside.
Oh, I'm dying. I'm infuriated.
Burning.
You can see steam coming out of my ears right now, man.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
Feel the tension.
Brandon, what do you think?
with the softball right here.
So I am personally a buyer when it comes to the Lions backfield. So I'm going DeAndre Swift here.
That's true.
Listen, I still love Kerryon Johnson. It's been 2 consecutive years where he's been hurt, and the Lions are just dying to run the ball. They are trying so hard to run the ball, and they want a workhorse. Kerryon gets hurt during week 7. He was had 14% snap percentage, and he had 5 carries and 1 target in those 14%, and then he got hurt. Weeks before that, week 6, he had 73% snap percentage, and then the bye at week 5 and week 4, he had 70. And I could go back even further. It drops off week 1 and week 2 with 57, 54, but they want a workhorse back. Kerryon got hurt the year before. They eased him into the workload, and C.J. Anderson was taking some of those snap percentage. But I think if Kerryon ends up getting hurt, I really think DeAndre Swift steps in, and he could be this year's Miles Sanders, in my opinion.
I love that. Love that comparison.
Before we move on, I have 2 things to point out. A, I think in the event Detroit takes Swift here, he takes Kerryon's job about as soon as he gets off the plane.
Well, the problem there is that Carrion was a second-round pick, and if
So-
this scenario is true, so is DeAndre Swift. So if they're willing to drop Carrion, or not drop, but back up Swift in this spot,
Well,
or even just use Johnson until he gets hurt, or just turn it into a timeshare. But even so, I see Swift making his way out onto the field.
Matt Patricia took over. Was it last year or the year before?
Year before,
The year before.
Was that Carrion's rookie season?
yeah.
Was he part of the regime that drafted Carrion?
I believe so, yeah.
All right, maybe he'd have some attachment. I don't think he's good. And if he was on the field so much last year, why didn't he do anything?
I believe Matt Patricia's in a win now mode, and I think DeAndre Swift would give him the best ability, especially if you have a running back like Carrion who's often injured. And I feel like he would love to take DeAndre Swift here, even if it's just a safety net for Carrion Johnson. Carrion Johnson often way too injured. DeAndre Swift coming in form, probably better than Carrion Johnson, and he'll take his job, point blank,
As soon as he steps off that plane,
literally tiptoes.
right there, immediately.
With pick 6, I am going to take Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Bastard.
I love this talent he has, and I think receiving upside is through the roof. I can see him getting Tariq Cohen targets in his first year, honestly. Tom Brady, I feel like he just targets the running back a lot. You've seen other people succeed as a pass catcher, even people like Rex Burkhead, James White. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a great talent in Tampa Bay. It's just a dream scenario. Pick 6, I had to go with him.
Boy, this is interesting choices up here. For me, as in who I should pick. I think I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson here.
Justin Jefferson, all right.
I think Henry Ruggs is the better player. Actually, I think a lot of these receivers are still the better player compared to Jefferson. However, as I said before, in this situation, he's on the Colts, and he's going to be manning the slot for the Colts. And we all know Phillip Rivers loves his slot receivers. So I expect him to clean up because the guy's really good at picking apart zones. I don't think he's good at anything other than picking apart zones. However, if he's good at that specific thing, whatever. I just need him to score fantasy points. I don't care how it comes. And I like a lot of these guys' long-term potential, but, when Jefferson performs, I'll just flip him for that guy anyway.
Exactly.
Yep. And I was taking Justin Jefferson at 8 if he fell. But since you let this man slide, I'm going to go with Henry Ruggs because
Wrong.
fast dude.
Fast dude.
That's all I got to say.
I know who you're going, Ed.
I don't even know who I'm going, honestly. It's between Cam Akers and Denzel Mims for me. I feel like you can't draft a wide receiver when you have a running back that can perform year one. Not saying Mims won't perform year one, but say Cam Akers performs year one, great numbers, looks like the future back in LA, okay? I could easily flip him for Mims plus next year if I need to. So with that point just being said, I have to go Cam Akers here.
I strongly considered it at 7, pretty much for the same reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I feel like Jefferson will, if he got drafted, would definitely be starting, whereas I don't know if Akers would. And there's some uncertainty there, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing I was debating too. If Cam Akers goes to the Rams, like we have him mocked to, there's Malcolm Brown there. Not saying he's a he's a great running back, but he's definitely going to take carries away. Darrell Henderson, I feel like they drafted him last year with a purpose, and he was a pretty good back in college, and I could see him succeeding somewhat in the NFL. And Cam Akers isn't going to have a guaranteed workload if he does go to the Rams, so there's no point in me assuming he's going to get a crazy amount of carries or targets, and then I can flip him. So I had a debate between Mims and him there, but had to end up going running back.
I wonder if I think what we have to keep in mind here is that we're talking about the Rams, and the Rams are entering in that list of NFL teams that just make you scratch your head and say, what What?
Not
Someone's paying that guy millions of dollars to make that obviously wrong decision.
Jared Goff.
Yeah. Didn't they? He got that big extension, right?
Huge extension, yeah.
They're out of salary cap space. They still have to extend Ramsey, who they gave up 2 first-round picks for. So he's getting money. They can't let him walk, can they? Boy, that would look so bad. That team, boy, they messed that up in a hurry.
They did.
This went from so promising, got this young quarterback, young coach combo, great young running back.
They were doing this weird thing of just trading for big names with all your draft capital, leaving you just
Traded a first for
empty.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that was back when that was a little more justified, but even at the time, it was like, oh, a first. I'm not a big fan of. I think if you're trading a first round pick in the NFL, it had better be for bona fide star talent, like non-question. You don't trade that for a role player, especially a guy who's about to get paid. But that's just me. That's my pick, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I don't want to take any of these people. I'm like forfeit. Well, I guess it's between Ayuk, Mims, and Rager here. Maybe. Hopefully I'm not missing anyone. I'm not going to go Rager just because Houston has pretty much all of their receivers right now, other than Randall Cobb, have the same skill set, which is to run down the field and catch the ball. And I think Rager is going to be particularly good at that, but I don't know. I'm going to go Mims just because in San Francisco, I trust Kyle Shanahan's ability to get the most out of that. And I don't know if I trust Aaron Rodgers to work with a rookie wide receiver because it seems like Aaron Rodgers just doesn't like certain guys. And I could see Ayuk like bumping into him in the cafeteria or something, and Rodgers is just deciding, all right, kid, I'm not throwing to you this season. Just have to get the ball on punt returns.
Punt returns.
You remember that Ty Montgomery kickoff return where he brought it out of the end zone and fumbled?
Yeah. Didn't he
How
get
mad
cut, like,
Aaron Rodgers was?
Did he get cut from that or no?
I think he got cut.
I think, yeah, he got cut
Hilarious.
weeks following from that.
I like to imagine Aaron Rodgers just walking up to the coach's office, kicking the door down. "Well, I'm cut now."
Get rid of this man.
That probably did happen.
Yeah.
I just remember how angry he was on the field. It was like, wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
Love it when Aaron Rodgers gets angry. Unless he's playing the Eagles because, throws 6 touchdowns.
So just for that reason, what you just listed off with Ayuk, I'm going to go with T. Higgins with my pick.
Oh, that was
I don't
another one. Why didn't I think of that?
I'm not really sure. T. Higgins, we mocked him up to go to the Eagles, and the Eagles virtually had no wide receivers last year. So Jeffrey will get hurt. Deshaun will get hurt. These
Jeffrey
are not
is hurt.
Yeah, these aren't hopes for them to get hurt. These are just downright facts.
Well, Jeffrey's starting the season on the physically unable to perform list, so you're already 1 out of 2.
Yeah, so, and then you got J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. He's pretending to be a wide receiver. So I think he's pretending to even be a football player, but I don't have the connections to call him out on it. But
You have a Twitter?
yeah, I don't use it so much. But
welcome to the modern age, my friend. Just tweet at him until he answers you.
What was that, Ed?
Don't you have like 3 followers on Twitter?
Yes, I do. So
That's
if you wanna follow me, I believe it's what you see in the sleeper app, B space, capital B, capital S, and space.
I wish I
gotta double check though because I'm not sure if I've got numbers at the end of that.
We can add your Twitter in the description afterwards.
All right.
Sweet. All right. With pick 12, I think I am going to take Ayuk. Playing with Green Bay, and obviously Aaron Rodgers they just brought in Devin Funchess. The man has 0 hands, several drops, I think Aaron Rodgers would get infuriated with him often and early. And I think IU can just take over his job, be a number two on a team that feeds the running backs this past year on targets. I don't see that repeating again. And I think IU can provide a decent upside.
Till he drops a punt return and Rodgers never throws to him again his entire career.
Understandable.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
All right, this is an interesting pick here. Am I going to do it?
I say let's do it, Alex. You
Let's
got
do
it.
Yeah, give me Burrow.
Burrow, okay.
Yeah, I know. I said I would. No, I said I'd consider Rager the last round, so I think you'd think it would make sense for me to go with him now, but give me Burrow. I mean, I think he'll be like a very good fantasy quarterback his rookie season.
Mhm.
I think he could push for solid QB1 stat line. And they got some weapons in Cincy.
In his first year, you think he's going to be QB1?
I think he could be. I think he's that good.
Bold statement. I like it, though. Spicy.
The dude is really accurate, and like Cincinnati's got some weapons. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying the team itself will be great. Although I think they'll be much improved. You know, instead of Ryan Finley throwing passes, you're gonna have Joe Burrow.
Now, do you think if he does go to, like, say Miami trades up in real life, would you take him at 2-1, and would you think he would be a QB1 first year?
Maybe.
Right.
I mean, the 2-1 kind of varies. I mean, I guess it would depend on like a lot of stuff.
What about QB1? Do you think he would finish QB1 with the Dolphins? Like, is there a chance?
I mean, there's a chance. I wouldn't put it down. I guess it would depend. If they kept a first round pick in that trade and like they snagged another solid receiver, or they just got a guy in like the second or third or something, someone who they could pair with Parker, then I could see it.
Understandable.
I don't hate Gesicki.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you who their running backs are, but I know in our world it's Jonathan Taylor. So that's another thing I did. I'm just combining the Miami players if Burrow got taken by Miami. Also, I just think that like the receiver position is just stupid deep right now, both in the draft and in real life. So
I agree.
I'll just wait on a receiver, get one elsewhere.
All right, B-Space 2.2, what are you taking?
All right, I am going with Jalen Rager here. Again, another team with just injury-plagued receivers, just like the Eagles and T. Higgins. I think Houston, Will Fuller's gonna get hurt. Brandon Cooks is gonna get hurt.
Let me say something real quick. We don't wish injuries on these players. We're just being realistic, I guess would be the word. Yeah, go ahead.
When you've got a player getting hurt virtually every single season of their career, at that point we're just gonna assume it. I do, and I know some different sources you go to. They say, well, assuming they play 16 games, at some point you can't assume it. You just know it's gonna happen. You draft Will Fuller, you expect 3 or 4 good games, and then he's just gone.
Just got to trade him after one of those good games. Chances
And
are you're not going to see another one for a month.
Yeah, it's a shame too. I love these players. I'm an Eagles fan. I love Deshaun Jackson. I love Alshon Jeffrey. They just get hurt, and when that happens, it's not good fantasy.
Sure isn't.
All right, I got 2-3 right here. A number of ways I could go. And I think I might have to reach right here. Nah, I can't reach, can I? Is that fair?
Reach.
It's fair to reach?
We're mocking a
reach.
draft based on a mock draft, so I don't think we're going to ding you too
real
much.
Life, if I were to do a real-life rookie draft like this, I would be trading down in this scenario where there's players like this here where I don't really like. But I guess if I have to do it, I will be taking Uh, Benjamin.
You bastard.
Just based on the fact that like he's going to Kansas City in this mock draft situation. It's a beautiful landing spot. 2.3, I think it's a great value. And I mean, I can't go with Quintez Cephas. Like what? No, I'm not taking that. Michael Pittman in Seattle. It's not a bad spot, but I just don't see him producing year one. Chenault, I can see not durable. Not durable. Baltimore, not really pass heavy. And everybody else there is just to me. I'll take
Yeah.
on a reach before I take an player.
I like this pick. I was gonna go him at 2-4, but as soon as you said I'm gonna reach, I was like, oh, he's gonna take him, isn't he? Take my guy. Yeah, I mean, passing back with Mahomes, it seems like a solid job to me.
It is. Even if it's a part-time job, I mean,
Yeah,
he'll
really.
be hired on full-time with a salary sometime soon. You never know, man.
I mean, like, would you rather take like someone who's going to play for the Jets, where the Jets score 12 points per game, so you're just hoping that like he accidentally scores a touchdown somehow, or are you going to take someone for the Chiefs and they score more touchdowns a game than like the Jets manage a month?
Exactly.
So, those got to go to somebody. Travis Kelce can't score all of them,
Yeah,
can he?
no shot.
You'll find out.
And 2.4, are you taking here, Alex?
Yeah, I don't even know. This is why I traded all my second and third round picks in our Dynasty mock. I just don't care about these players. That's rough. All right. I don't know. Give me Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. Ugh.
I don't really like any of these names, given, like, if I was playing a legitimate draft, I wouldn't be very confident about a lot of these guys. However, you guys like Armstead. I don't. So I feel like we're a Leonard Fournette injury away from this guy getting a lot of carries. Is that likely? Probably not, but
I would say it's likely. I
I don't know. It like
Injuries,
maybe Fournette gets hurt, but then like you need two things to happen here. You need Fournette to get hurt, and it's just generally like not great planning to structure your team around hoping their starters get injured.
this is true.
And I feel like you've tried to run with that before, but like we all have at some point.
Oh, I had Madison on my team. Who else did I have? Tony Pollard. I just thought I like Tony Pollard.
Acquire backup running backs.
Yeah, I had a very bad.
Well,
start.
if their starters get hurt, but I guess I'm going to do the very same thing that I just said you shouldn't do, because I am a hypocrite.
All right, Brandon, who you got with 2.5?
Well, I'm sitting here. I'm going over landing spots for these rookies, and I don't know much about the rookie class because I'm more of an NFL pro football watcher more than college. But considering landing spots, I was looking at two players. Bryson Hopkins going to Washington Redskins,
Okay.
and Antonio Gandy Golden going to New England. I think New England is a place where in Dynasty you draft him and he will I don't know much about this guy. So I think he could progress, and New England being the place it is, they don't use rookies typically the first season. So that's something to consider. But I'm going to go with Bryson Hopkins because 6'4", pairing with drawing a blank on the name.
Pairing with nobody because
No,
we have him at the Redskins.
No, I'm drawing. I'm drawing on the name.
McLaurin?
Yeah, McLaurin.
The problem is, can Hopkins catch?
Well, let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see.
That's some stellar analysis right here. Let's see. I like it.
Let's hope on it. All right. I'm gonna have to reach again here. I apologize, Alex, but
You're gonna take Tyler Johnson, aren't you?
yeah, I sure am. Yeah.
You son of a bitch. I was gonna do it, and then I didn't.
It was between Tyler Johnson and Tua for me. I feel like Tua I don't know. It's a little bit of risk right here. I'd rather take Tyler Johnson than Tua, obviously. That's why I took Tyler Johnson. Even with the Jets, he might struggle at first, but I think if Adam Gase does get fired, I feel like Tyler Johnson is just too good to not pass up, to pass up at 2.6.
My fear is that he is probably going to be a slot receiver in the NFL, and they currently have Crowder, and I
Yeah.
like Johnson, but I just feel like he might struggle to take Crowder's snaps. Now,
Now,
I definitely
drafting,
agree on the long-term value.
yeah, I say 2.6. I mean,
It's probably
2.6.
you're
You're
probably
not
not.
drafting people for first year impact, honestly, in my opinion. The
If
first
you are,
round,
that's depressing.
it is depressing. I think first round, probably top 5 picks is probably first year progression, or what's the word?
You're just hoping for them to do something that year.
First 5 picks, you're hoping for people to do something.
Yeah.
After that, I mean, you kind of are hoping as well, like with your Justin Jefferson pick, even like Denzel Mims later. I feel like you can expect them to do something in the first year. Tyler Johnson, I wouldn't say he's going to do much first year. He might not even play first year. I mean, who really knows? But I think I'm going to make a statement right here. Not sure if
Let's hear.
I'm going to agree with it in the future, but I want to say Tyler Johnson's going to have a top 3 wide receiver career in this class. I see him having a career better than Jalen Reagor. Better than Jefferson, definitely better than Ruggs. Yeah, that's my bold statement right there. Tyler Johnson, top 3 wide receiver in the class of 2020.
I like Tyler Johnson. However, I think you're a psychopath.
I am sometimes. I mean, I had Tony Pollard and Alexander Madison starting my running backs for last year. That's bad, but
Not ideal.
not
Who's
ideal.
picked? Is it my pick now?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with this pains me, but Devin Duvernay.
Ew. What? That's understandable, actually.
I like this guy a lot, actually. And I've been looking in on him a little more, just out of fun, and I like him a lot. And I want our Eagles to take him in like the 3rd round. So I like this guy a lot. And I don't like that we assigned him to Dallas in this mock. I wish we should take that back. I am very upset at this in hindsight, because I think the guy's going to be very productive out of the slot. Like, he is a yards after catch machine. And like, he was also a pretty volume target last year at Texas. So
Understandable.
I like him. Get him the ball, watch him work. I
Would
don't
you,
really want to watch him do that for Dallas, but
would you want them to take Duvernay in the 3rd, even if we take a receiver like T. Higgins or Justin
yes,
Jefferson in the 1st? You would?
don't care. If we take Justin Jefferson in the 1st, I'm just going to stop watching the draft, because I'll be crying, like crying.
Who do you want the Eagles to take?
Anyone but Justin Jefferson. Don't take a slot. You want to know why you don't take a slot receiver in the 1st round? Because in the 3rd round, you can find yourself either Tyler Johnson or Devin Duvernay, 2 very different skill sets. However, both of them will be slot receivers, just like Justin Jefferson. Don't take those guys in the 1st. And tell you what, name me the last wide receiver who was slot in college who projects as slot in the NFL to get drafted in the 1st round. I don't think you can. I don't think that player exists.
A.J. Brown was projected to be slot in the NFL. He wasn't
Not the
first
first
round,
round.
but he was close to there. He was close to it.
Yeah, but was he a guy who could only play the slot? I feel like he definitely
Played
had
primarily
outside.
in the slot in college, and he was expected to play in the slot. But I mean, he came to the NFL and played outside pretty strongly. He had a few games at Ole Miss where he played outside, but it's just a name to throw out there.
Also, 2nd round. So you almost got me.
Almost. It was close. It was close.
Close. Just Jefferson. Yeah, I would be very on board with Duvernay if we took Higgins in the 1st. I would be thrilled with that. Especially like if we could trade back and maybe snag another 3rd. Like, I want Cameron Dantzler too. I'm a huge fan of that guy's name.
I've honestly never heard of such a man. Cameron Dantzler?
I don't even know if I pronounce his name right. Mississippi State. I like him. He's big. He's got speed. He's got size. His numbers are pretty solid. Cornerback.
Oh, cornerback. Never mind. I thought you were talking about skill positions. I had thought about deep.
Right, pick him up. Snag us a Jeremy Chin or something. He probably won't be there. Pick 53.
What a name, people. All right.
Yeah.
2-8. Who are you taking, Brandon?
So this is basically based on team needs. Like if this was a legit draft and my team was up at this point, I would personally go Tua. So that's what I'm going with. Because this might be biased only because my fantasy team has it's got mediocre quarterbacks that could uh, be pretty talented. I mean, Daniel Jones. I'm not saying he's excellent or whatnot, but I think I would need more assurance, and I think Tua, even if he comes out and re-injures his hip, I mean, took
It's
it
not
my best
ideal.
shot.
That's not
So,
something to say right
It's
there.
not ideal at all.
See, even if he comes out injured, it.
I don't think I'd feel good about that. You kind of said that like you'd feel like, oh, it's all right.
no.
I don't think I'd.
Clarify. No, I'm not. I'm saying
That would suck.
if he were to re-injure his
bad.
hip, it's
Pretty
obviously bad, but it's not like it's potential over injury risk at this point.
Understandable.
You got Ed.
2-9. I'm going to take a man that's just fallen a little too far. I wanted to reach again, but I got to stop reaching. I'm just going to take Laviska Shenault right here. If he stays healthy and if people use him the way he needs to be used over in Baltimore, I feel like he could definitely project as a good receiver. Again, it is potential at this point over talent or over injury risk and yada, yada, yada. I take Laviska Shenault over Quintez Cephas. What's his name? I don't know. But
That guy's not getting drafted.
understandable.
I don't even think we assigned him a team. I don't know why he's in this app.
We didn't. That's true.
That's why I wouldn't touch him. Are you drafting that guy?
What if he's a free agent? What if he like?
Not. I don't care.
All right.
All right, next pick. I don't like KJ Hamler, but I'm going to take KJ Hamler because he's a name. And we live in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of Penn State fans in Pennsylvania, unfortunately, so I'll just trade him to a Penn State fan.
All right.
That's all I got.
All right.
He can't catch.
The background
Crucial.
of my pick.
Treat.
This is a guy I mentioned earlier. I like his landing spot, Antonio Gandy Golden. So throw him up on that board because New England, just use him in year 2 and I'll be happy because this is Dynasty outlook, and I think he has potential to be a decent play.
All right.
That's all that you can hope for in a pick this late also. So.
Yeah. With 212, I was thinking about going Keyshawn Vaughn. The thing was, we didn't assign him a location. Not sure why, especially since I like him. I don't know.
Because who's heard of Keyshawn?
My mind. If he does go somewhere like say Atlanta, that would just be beautiful to me. But here, since we didn't give him a location, I have to take Michael Pittman. In Seattle, not much to say, honestly.
Tell you what. Anyone in the audience, please raise your hand if you've heard of Keyshawn Vaughn.
I am the audience. I will.
You're not the audience. That would be a grand total of 0.
Okay, let's ask them a question as well. Who here has heard of Devin Duvernay?
Well, I mean, if you watch college football, you've heard of him.
If you watch college football, you've definitely heard of Keyshawn Vaughn.
That's a lie. I watch college football, and I couldn't tell you where Keyshawn Vaughn went to school. And you told me this less than an hour ago.
If you went to, or if you were a college football fan, would you know where Antonio Gandy Golden went to?
I mean, you might have heard that he went to Liberty. However, they don't really televise Liberty's football games. I think you would have heard of Duvernay because he was I can't pronounce that. Blitnikov? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, I think so.
He was an award finalist for that. So I would hope if you watched any college football, and that and like every Texas college football game is televised to every market everywhere, it seems. Because I don't know about you, but when the college football season is on, I can't turn on a TV without Texas football being on it. It's so tired of that crap. I think I want to watch Sam Ellinger throw passes every day.
I don't. That's guaranteed.
I don't. He's fun to watch run the ball, though. That's my pick, isn't it?
It is your pick.
Tell you what, just because I think it'll make you happy, I'm going to call an audible, and we're going to assign Keyshawn Vaughn to the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm going to take him.
And why is that? Why would you not take Quintez Cephus, or whatever his name is.
Not drafting that. I don't want to say what that sounds like, honestly, to me, but I'm taking Vaughn because you like it, man. I'm going to trust you on this one.
Wow, that feels good. That feels good.
Notice I'm also trusting you in like the least crucial of times that I physically could.
You
So-
could take somebody, like
Okay. Well,
Thaddeus Moss, and he could be a stud. You never know, man.
don't think we assigned him a team either. So
Not sadly.
I was actually going to take Hunter Bryant, but Keyshawn Vaughn, because that's a great name. That's a great football name.
It is. I would say so. All right. B. Harris. Who are you taking?
I am going with. I'm gonna go with Chase Claypool here.
Damn it! No, bad.
Well,
Don't
if you
make
wouldn't have taken Ed's prospect, you could have had him. And now I do.
Where'd we give Claypool to again?
Tampa Bay. This is strictly for potential, isn't it, Brandon?
Yeah.
They got an abundance of receivers there if they take Claypool. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously this man isn't a big fan of Bowling Green prospects, Alex, but Miller's pretty good in my opinion. Justin Watson isn't even bad either, but I guess this is a decent situation for him. Anyways, with the third pick in the third round, I think I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon here. Not saying he's going to get much run in Seattle. Not saying he's going to even play a snap in the season, but I think A.J. Dillon is a great athlete. Decent hands, obviously, not the best receiving back, and very strong, husky man who I said I was attracted to last episode, but
Bold statement.
let's leave that in the past. What'd you say?
Bold statement
That I was what?
that you're attracted to him.
It was
Just
very
a bold thing to say.
Yeah,
But hey, man, shoot your shot.
On air too.
I did say that on air. It wasn't. Oh man, it was a bad time.
I'm not
Alex,
officially
who's
on air. My pick again, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Give me Hunter Bryant because he's a tight end and he might like make some explosive plays, and he plays for Chicago, which means that he will not produce any explosive plays because it's Bears. But maybe they trade him to the Chiefs.
Yeah, maybe he's the next Travis Kelce. All right, Brandon, your pick.
Going Brian Edwards. I'm making a stand here today.
And
And this man, Brian Edwards, Brian with a Y,
here,
this man is going to be the first relevant Brian with a Y in the NFL. And that's primarily why I'm picking him at 305. This is a pick where I wouldn't waste it. And this man, I'm giving him.
Bold statement.
Yep,
Your
I'm
pick.
giving
Should
him.
clarify BRY receivers, Brian's.
Yeah, receivers.
I'm willing to bet there's been a pretty solid like
And
Brian.
Brian Bryan Edwards, he went to New Orleans. So once Emmanuel Sanders decides to retire, who knows? Brian with a Y, wide receiver.
all right, slide right in there. The sixth pick, I think I gotta go. I want to take Antonio Gibson. There's either between him or Justin Herbert. I think I gotta go get. No, I'm gonna go Herbert. First round selection in the NFL draft, top 10 pick. I mean, not saying he's a talented individual, but if he gets the opportunity, who knows what he'll do. That's all I gotta say about him.
I think he's pretty talented. It's just a matter of really put it together. Who was I going to draft? I honestly forget. Don't I look stupid?
I forgot Terry McLaurin, so it's all right. I forgot the only weapon on the Redskins.
Kind of hard to do.
Yeah, it's
All right, there are two guys I want with these last two picks, so I feel like I'm going to get the chance to do that. Ed, for much of the same reason you just said, I'm going to go with Jordan Love here with the exclusion of the top 10 pick part because we took him in the second round. again, do I believe in Chicago? No, obviously not. But the guy's got a lot of arm talent, so interesting bench stash, and he seems like the type of guy that could come out, drop a couple dimes in his first game, and then I can ship him over to somebody else for good stuff. Like Daniel Jones last year, where he went off. And then
You'd be
somebody got a good
surprised.
deal for him.
You'd be surprised. I tried trading Daniel Jones, and
Ed
not
wouldn't
many
take him.
people were takers. No.
I'll take him.
Last season, it was pretty soon after he had like a few consecutive good games. I think it was like
Well, you
Right.
probably were waiting to hold to trade him for actual value, whereas
Yeah.
I probably would have shipped him out for
nothing.
a bag of
On
uncooked
stream,
rice.
on stream right now, I'll trade you Teddy Bridgewater in the third in the future for Daniel Jones.
Me.
Yeah. And what are you expecting to get out of the guy, honestly?
It's a
I don't
bad
know.
trade. What are you expecting out of Bridgewater?
I like Jones primarily because I know it sounds stupid, but I don't know. Jason Garrett trained up 2 late round quarterbacks, and what can he do with the? You know what, Alex? I can tell you're about to say something. What can
No, not
Jason
really.
Garrett
Don't
do
ask
with
me a Jason Garrett
a
question.
top pick? So I don't know. I'm taking
Go
that
6-10 would be my guess.
with decent plays, you know. And I am picking my man Eno Benjamin.
You cannot do that because he was selected last round.
Well, that's a disappointing.
Where have you been? He went in the second. He went third pick of the second round. That was
Woo!
like a
I guess
really
he
long time
did.
ago relative to this draft.
Well, I'm glad my man got some recognition because I certainly wrote him off.
We're gonna take him in the third round. All right.
That puts me on
Solid pick right
on
here.
a tilt. So I'm tilting. Man, I'm gonna go into the deep bag of
Just take
wide
Peoples Jones.
receivers.
He might start.
Peoples Jones.
He might start. It's
I agree.
opportunity at least. I mean, 3-8. What else are you hoping for?
Yeah,
You
People
just drafted
Jones.
Jordan Love. God.
Yeah,
All right.
Potential opportunity. Bad player.
The number of players I want to take.
and just to clarify, People Jones in our mock, he went to Minnesota, so that's why we're saying future starting job.
Maybe.
Just wanted to clarify. Maybe.
I mean,
Most likely, I
definitely
would
better
say
than Duke
12.
Johnson, in my opinion. He's just not good. Then neither of them are good. So good. All right. 3-9. I am going to go.
Gibson.
I can't. I
Ooh.
gotta go Jalen Hurts.
All right.
He's a really talented player, honestly. I've seen something today. I think it was deep throw completion percentage, or maybe it was deep throw accuracy or something like that. And he was the second quarterback of the quarterbacks in here last year with the lowest. Oh, it was inaccuracy on deep passes. He was second at 6%.
Was that over career or last season?
Just this past season.
Now, I would like to ask you, how much of that is CD Lamb?
It's a good question.
Can a receiver make a quarterback? The answer is yes. Interesting stat, regardless.
I think, okay, Tua was number one with like the least. So would you say that his receivers made him? Is that
No,
fair?
but I see where you're going from. I mean, I don't.
Burrow was third.
I like Joe Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts. So
All right.
I don't know. It just at Alabama, like the passing skills were not always great. However, Nick Saban isn't exactly a guy that's known to get the most out of his quarterbacks.
Yeah, let's talk
Which
about
makes Tua more impressive to me. But
what's the dude's name who came from there? Who? Greg McElroy. I remember that man.
yeah, didn't Julio get him drafted?
Yeah.
It's funny to watch. You know, Devontae Adams played with Derek Carr. That's funny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that. Anyway, 3-10. I'm gonna go with KJ Hill here.
I knew it.
Did you?
I knew. Yeah, I was just about to say, but you hopped on way too quick.
Yeah, I mean, same thing I mentioned earlier. Opportunity, and in this hypothetical scenario, he is the starting slot receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's a solid opportunity, if you ask me. A lot better than a lot of other these guys are going to get. So, take a shot. I like KJ Hill. He could be a good pro. Again, another reason as to why you don't draft Justin Jefferson in the first round, because you can get a slot receiver in the third, fourth, fifth, undrafted anywhere. Find him on the street.
Nelson Aguilar. How are you going to feel about that? How are you going to feel about this statement right here when he turns into Nelson Aguilar?
KJ Hill?
Yeah.
Which Nelson Aguilar? The 2017 Nelson Aguilar or the 2019 Nelson Aguilar?
Let's talk about the mature Nelson Aguilar in 2019.
I don't want to talk about that.
Don't.
Can we talk about like anything else?
No.
Like, can we talk about my social security number or something? Anything other than Nelson Aguilar.
Let's talk about my man.
Let's do that.
And this guy right here, Harrison Bryant. 6'5", going to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a pretty good history of picking out the talented players. And he's a monster
Solid statement.
because he's 6'5". I like tall tight ends.
Isn't he 6'6"? You lying to me, Brandon?
Speaking of tall tight ends, why did you not go with my man Albert Akugabuba?
Because I couldn't pronounce his name.
Primarily because I can't say the name unless I would have considered it.
Well, I definitely cannot pronounce that name, but
Where did Akuagabadoba go?
Cordoba. He is very strong, very tall, very fast. Tight end who's going to Atlanta in this mock draft. So, I mean, I think it's worth the last pick in the draft. Why would you not keep him sat on the bench?
Yeah. Stashing players with potential is a great thing in Dynasty, obviously.
All
right, that wraps up the draft.
Solid mock. Any final thoughts?
Anybody?
Yeah, I got one actually. If you ever disrespect my diet orange soda again, we're gonna have problems. That's about all. Brandon, final thoughts?
Brandon?
I have to say, you said you drink Sunkist diet Sunkist, right? I don't mind it. I don't mind Sunkist.
I choose your words carefully here.
The diet is very particular.
Listen. Here's the thing. I used to hate diet soda. Then I stopped drinking soda in an effort to lose weight, which worked. And then I just occasionally drank some diet soda. And let me tell you, when you get rid of all that sugar in your life, all you need is something that just tastes like it. Your body's like, oh, I want more of it. It's like crack. Like,
I think I found what I'm going to do in the upcoming weeks.
I'm telling you, if you want to get into diet soda, you stop drinking soda for 6 months. Have yourself a diet soda every now and then. You will develop a taste for it, guaranteed. Then you're lying to me.
I'll slowly transition my addiction towards Orange Crush and gear it towards diet.
You can't do it. It's got to be a sudden stop followed by a brief, long period.
Well, how am I supposed to do podcasts if I'm going through cold sweats?
All right, I think that's about all we got for today.
Yep, and we'll catch you after the draft with a draft takeaways and review and whatnot.
So if anyone's got any ideas, I like talking about random shit. So
yep, ideas, post them down below.